What's up, gamers? Welcome back. I've heard a lot about this game and I just had to check it out. Today we're going to be talking about Life is Strange. The game starts you off taking control of a female protagonist named Max, who is in the middle of a storm. You can see rain, you can see winds blowing, trees, everything's going nuts when all of a sudden the lighthouse falls on top of her and Max wakes up in the middle of class. So most people were telling me that this is a click and point adventure game. I was confused the entire time for a minute because I was clicking on everything and nothing is working, and I discovered how embarrassing is that it's a click, hold down the left mouse button, and drag to the option adventure game. So after figuring that out, I decided to click on the camera. Now what happens next is that Max ends up taking a selfie of herself, and the teacher saw exactly what happened, so he embarrasses her in class by asking her a question she didn't know the answer to. At the same time, another snobby girl named Victoria kicks in and starts answering the question for her. The bell rings and class is over. Now as you enter the hallway, you'll see the name of the publishers pop up. Yes, the game is published by Square Enix. They are not the creator of the game. So as she is walking down the hallway, you get a feel of what type of environment, what type of game this is. The graphics of the game has a very indie feel to it. It looks nice. Not too detailed, but that's okay for this sort of game. The art is decent. As Max is making her way to the bathroom, the introductory music plays. It's pretty nice for this type of game, very nice introduction music. She's able to look around and see what's going on, and you realize what type of environment this is in. This is your typical stereotyped high school. There's the fat kid being bullied on the side, the jockeys and the cool kids, and also the nerdy girl on the side who's just texting her friends, social outcast, etc. So she's making her way to the bathroom, and you see signs all over the place that you can interact with. You can look at them. It's basically all look until you get into the bathroom. This is where she washes her face and the game begins. So just to stay spoiler free, she's washing her face and a blue butterfly flies in and she has to take a picture of it. So she goes in the corner, takes a picture, and hides at one of the stalls. When all of a sudden a boy and a girl enters, a situation occurs and she panics. And that's when it happens. She wakes up during the lecture that happens during the beginning of the game. Now she wakes up during the lecture and she realizes she just has gained a new power. The power to make the world her DJ table.
There you go.
Arbus.
There.
Diane Arbus. Diane Arbus. Diane Arbus. Diane Arbus. Diane.
By the way, just kidding, she has the power to revert time, which is pretty damn cool. Playing the game, you'll be able to interact with the environment, talk to people, and start learning more about them, getting the background, understanding what the situation is, such as the missing girl on the poster that you see throughout the game, and understanding the student's behavior and the attitude towards her. But basically, she'll solve a few puzzles here and there with the ability of time. But the most important is that every choice has a consequence. So it really is affecting to the players that the choices you make has a consequence. You're always thinking about that. So you can always, if you feel like the choice is wrong, the game will hint you if there's a consequence to it. You can always revert time with their powers and change the choices to your life. Like I said before, I want to stay spoiler free. The game starts off with your typical kind of cheesy drama teenage girl life, which gets more interesting as the plot goes along. She starts learning more and more things, starts to affect the choices around her, the plot builds up, and when you reach the end of the game, you'll be treated with one of the questions you've had throughout the entire game, and then it just blows your mind apart. So you gotta check it out. The game contains many Easter eggs from Square Enix products. You'll hear mentions of Full Metal Alchemist or Tomb Raider, but eventually it didn't really have much con except for the fact that you can't really have much choices in the consequences. There's only multiple choices you can have, one or two, and there isn't many QTEs in the game yet. It is the first episode of the series, so hopefully we'll see more of that, more of the heavy rain influence that people are talking about, which I didn't see as much in this game, but it did have influence from Telltale Games and many other games out there today that you've played before. The developers made her say this line when she was in one of the rooms, and it just cracked me up.
That is a tasty plasma. Maybe I could sneak in and watch Final Fantasy Spirits Within. I don't care what anybody says, that's one of the best sci-fi films ever made.
The line cracked me up, of course. You know, it led me to believe that the developers were cracking that joke, or maybe they didn't understand what was going on, or perhaps they were smoking something. But for $5, the game is a really interesting game, has a really interesting plot, and I can't wait to see more from it, to see how it evolves, and see what the next episodes are going to be like. The episode will either let you know if you like the game, or you won't. And for $5, not a bad price for the game. Very interesting game. So remember guys, this is my review for the game. Check it out. I'll do a review for each of the episodes and talk about it and try to stay spoiler free as possible, because I understand that these type of games, you want to not spoil too much about it and let the people play. So get the game, play it yourself, and game on. It is another zombie apocalypse. Oh yeah. That's right, the apocalypse, where every other survivors who play this game is an asshole.